written by Isaac Asimov and Robert Frost. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed May 17th, 2157, she wrote,
"Today, Tommy found a real book."
It was a very old book. I mean, truly ancient. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper.
Can you even imagine that? For them, it must have felt like a myth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they turned the pages. They were yellow and crinkly.
It was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know?
And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had when they read it the first time.
Just there. Unchanging. Tommy's voice, though, he wasn't impressed. He just said, gee, what a waste. When you're through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess.
A completely utilitarian view, right? His voice just filled that quiet attic air. His superiority so evident. He immediately starts talking about the efficiency of their screen.
Our television screen must have had 1 million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. And Margie, she's younger, 11? A little envious, maybe? She says, same with mine.
She hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13 after all, an expert.
But she was curious, so she asks, where did you find it? Tommy's barely paying attention. He just points, in my house, in the attic. What's it about? And he says just one word, so short. School. School? What's there to write about school? I hate school.
And she really meant it. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever.
Yeah.
It was because of this unrelenting pressure. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she'd been doing worse and worse. Her mother, Mrs. Jones, had finally just shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector.
Oh, the inspector.
He arrived, this round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires.
Margie had hoped. Oh, she'd hoped he would know how to put it together again.
Just a small chance of freedom.
Any escape, right.
But he knew how. All right, of course he did. After about an hour or so, there it was again. Large and black and ugly.
Just sitting there.
The part Margie hated most, really despised, was the slot. The slot where she had to put homework and test papers.
All written in that punch code she had to learn when she was 6.
It was so
impersonal.
And the inspector, he's trying to be kind, but he's just so clinical about it. He tells her mom, it's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick.
They're too quick, like she's a machine herself.
Those things happen sometimes. I've slowed it up to an average 10-year level.
And Margie was just crestfallen, so disappointed. She had been hoping they'd take the teacher away altogether for at least a month.
Like they did for Tommy once.
Right. She remembered when Tommy's history sector had blanked out completely. He got a whole month off. A whole month of freedom. But no luck for her, so she just turns back to Tommy, a little defeated. And she asks him again, why would anyone write about school? And Tommy looks at her with this superior look. He really emphasizes his words, all lofty and knowing, because it's not our kind of school, stupid.
Just so condescending.
Totally. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He pauses for effect, centuries ago. And Margie's a little hurt by that, a bit defensive. Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time ago.
She read the book over her shoulder for a little while then, just sort of peering at the strange, static words. And then the most baffling realization of all it strikes her.
Anyway, they had a teacher. And Tommy's like, of course they did. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. A man? How could a man be a teacher?
To her, a teacher is this perfect, all-knowing machine, a program. The idea of a flawed human being doing that job is it's absurd.
So Tommy tries to explain the primitive system. Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Margie is still skeptical. A man isn't smart enough.
And here, Tommy appeals to a different kind of standard. Not computational power, but shared human knowledge. A family standard.
Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher.
A bold claim.
Well, back it off a little.
He knows almost as much, I betcha.
Margie is still thinking about it, and she hits on her final barrier, final objection. It's about her personal space, her isolation. I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me.
And at this, Tommy just loses it.
He just screams with laughter. Pure, absolute delight at her ignorance. You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house.
This is the big reveal, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They had a special building and all the kids went there, and you can feel Margie just grasping this concept, this collective structure. And all the kids learn the same thing. Sure, Tommy says, all matter of fact, if they were the same age. But Margie, she can only think of her own programming, her mother's words. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently.
And right there, that's the clash. The rigid, cold efficiency of her present, staring back at the imagined messy freedom of the past. The efficiency of customization was also the coldness of isolation.
They're not even halfway through the book when her mother's voice just cuts in, clipped. Efficient. Margie, school!
Time's up.
Now, and it's probably time for Tommy, too.
Margie turns to Tommy. She sounds so reluctant. Can I read the book some more with you after school? Tommy, so nonchalant, so cool. Maybe. He just walks away, whistling, with that dusty old book, that relic tucked beneath his arm. And Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, of course it was. The mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. The screen was lit up, and it said, "Today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fractions. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot."
Margie did so, with a sigh.
A really heavy sigh. She wasn't thinking about fractions, not at all. She was thinking about the old schools they had. When her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy.
All the kids from the whole neighborhood came.
Laughing.
And shouting in the schoolyard.
Sitting together in the schoolroom. Going home together at the end of the day. They learned the same thing, so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it.
They could actually talk about it.
And the teachers. The teachers were people. And all the while, the mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen, demanding her attention. When we add the fractions 1/2 and 1/4.
But she was a million miles away. She was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days.
She was thinking about the fun they had. The fun they had. That phrase. It just lies there, doesn't it? It's not just in the past. It's in the path not taken by their own generation.
A path of togetherness.
Yeah.
Of shared experience. Something they've engineered away.
Every journey, I suppose, begins with a choice like that. A point where the road separates.
And the traveler has to decide. They have to pick a direction that's going to define their future self.
And in making that choice, they're also choosing a story to tell about themselves later on.
Which is, that's the whole thing, isn't it? The story we tell.
Let's go there now. To that moment of choice. 2 roads diverged in the Yellowwood. The air is heavy. Heavy with autumn and with indecision.
And sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood.
And looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth.
Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim.
And here's the justification, right? The reason why. Because it was grassy and wanted wear.
You can feel that promise of the untouched, the challenge of the less traveled.
But then there's a correction, a quiet little reality check that most people miss.
Yeah.
Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same.
About the same, not different, not special.
And both that morning equally lay. In leaves, no step had trodden black.
Oh, I'll get the first for another day.
That little lie we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
That we can always go back.
Right.
Yet knowing how way leads on to way.
I doubted if I should ever come back.
And now we jump forward, far into the future, leaning into memory. I should be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I
took the one less traveled by.
And that has made all the difference.
The echo of that choice. It just reverberates.
But the difference, what really is the difference? In both of these stories, we're seeing this tension, aren't we?
We really are. It's between the common path and the unique journey.
Whether it's a future child, like Margie, who's yearning for the community of a classroom her world is thrown away.
Or a lone traveler in the woods, choosing a path, and then deciding after the fact that it was the special one.
The difference then, it doesn't lie in the road itself.
No. Not at all. It lies in the belief that the choice mattered.
That willingness to step onto the path less worn, or even just to imagine the fun of a different life.
That is what truly shapes us.
So when we look at Asimov's story, that final thought, the fun they had, it's really the entire thesis, isn't it? And it's so counterintuitive to the logic of her world.
Oh, completely. Her world it's optimized, it's customized, it's supposed to be perfect for her, to maximize her learning, and yet...
She's miserable.
Exactly. Asimov, writing this way back in 1951, he's seeing something on the horizon. It's not just about robots, it's about this idea of hyper-individualized instruction.
And he's showing us the cost. Margie is unhappy precisely because her education is tailored only to her. It's efficient, but it has zero, I don't know, zero humanity.
Yeah.
It's eliminated the messy, inefficient, but deeply human element of socialization.
The big moment for her, the big revelation, it isn't finding a paper book. It's realizing that old schools had a shared space.
A shared space and shared struggles.
Yes. When she asks Tommy, kind of shocked, and all the kids learn the same thing, she's voicing the horror of inefficiency from her perspective.
But she's also, at the same time, discovering the beauty of community. If everyone learns the same thing, well,
They can help each other. They can complain about the homework together. They have a shared cultural reference point.
and think about the emotional stakes of that. In Margie's system, when she fails a geography test, she fails alone. In her bedroom, with a machine.
Right. And the county inspector comes and he tinkers with the machine and he talks about her like she's a faulty component. The geography sector was geared a little too quick.
It's so isolating, it's embarrassing, it's all focused on her personal metrics.
Whereas in the old school, if you were struggling with fractions.
So were 30 other kids in the room with you?
Exactly. And that shared struggle, it builds empathy, it builds resilience, it builds connection. Asimov is really forcing us to ask a tough question. Is educational efficiency worth the cost of social isolation?
It's so relevant for a high school audience today, isn't it? I mean, we live in a world where learning is getting more and more fragmented. You've got personalized learning platforms, you've got online modules.
You might be working on one concept while the person sitting right next to you is on a totally different level, a different subject even. We are, in a very real way, living in Margie's world.
And the data might say it's effective for test scores, but the human feedback, the feeling, it suggests there's a profound loneliness that comes from not having that shared inefficient experience.
When Margie imagines kids laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, she's not romanticizing the curriculum.
No.
She's romanticizing the sheer glorious chaos of community.
And what about the teacher? The human teacher. She's so gassed at the idea a man isn't smart enough.
Her standard for what smart is, it's based entirely on computational speed, on data retrieval, things a machine will always be better at.
The machine is objective. It's consistent, tireless. It never has a bad day. But what does the human teacher offer?
Subjectivity, emotional context, the ability to model, messy, creative thinking. A human teacher offers fallibility.
And that fallibility allows the students to feel less pressure to be perfect, to be optimized little machines themselves.
So learning stops being just a transfer of data and becomes a shared emotional experience guided by this relatable, imperfect person. The ultimate irony is that Margie's world is designed for her comfort and success, and she hates it. She wants the obsolete past.
She wants the path her society chose not to take.
Because it promised something that efficiency couldn't. Happiness.
So that longing, that yearning for the path not taken, that's our bridge. Margie's generation consciously chose the efficient, isolated path. And now she looks back at the discarded road and she romanticizes it. She imbues it with all the wonderful qualities her current system lacks.
It's nostalgia for a life she never even lived, which is a perfect lead-in to Robert Frost. Because this need to define your present by romanticizing a rejected choice. That is exactly what Frost is exploring, maybe a bit more cynically even.
So when we step into that yellow wood, we're not just looking at a choice, we're looking at the birth of a story. The poem is so famous, but it's famous for being misunderstood, isn't it?
Oh, completely. Everyone thinks it's a celebration of rugged individualism, taking the hard road.
But it's much more subtle than that. The first stanza sets it up perfectly. The traveler stands there, sorry I could not travel both. That's the core human dilemma, right? You only get one life. You can't A/B test your own existence.
And he looks down one path, as far as I could. He's trying to get more data. He's trying to de-risk the decision.
But you can't. The future is always hidden where it bent in the undergrowth. So the moment of choice is always, in some way, an act of blind faith.
So he makes the choice, then took the other, as just as fair. He immediately notes that it was basically the same. But then, almost instantly, he starts building the narrative and having perhaps the better claim.
And here's the famous part, the justification. Because it was grassy and wanted where, this is the line everyone quotes, the story of choosing the road less traveled.
But Frost, being Frost, immediately undercuts his own narrator. He pulls the rug out from under him in the very next lines.
Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same.
Boom! There it is. The paths were. They were basically identical.
The difference wasn't in the wood. It was projected onto the wood by the mind of the chooser. The traveler needs the choice to have been significant. He needs to have been special for choosing it.
It's about the ego, isn't it? We need to believe our choices are profound, not arbitrary.
And then there's that poignant moment where he knows he can't go back. He says, "Oh, I kept the first for another day."
The little lie.
The comforting lie. But he knows better. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubt it if I should ever come back. Time only flows in one direction.
And that leads to the climax, the future memory. I shall be telling this with a sigh.
That sigh is everything. Is a sigh of satisfaction, of regret, of weariness.
Frost leaves it totally ambiguous, but it's definitely the sigh of someone performing a story that has been simplified and polished over time.
Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference.
But the difference isn't the result of the path. The difference is the story itself. The act of declaring it the road less traveled by is what creates the meaning.
So when we put Asimov and Frost side by side, we get this incredible 360-degree view of the same psychological need, the need to romanticize the road not taken.
Margie is living on the road most traveled by her society, the path of tech optimization. It's the default.
And she's miserable. So she looks back at the road her society discarded, the old communal school, and she turns it into this beautiful, perfect ideal, the fun they had.
She needs to believe the other choice would have been better. If her reality is isolating, the past must have been communal. If her present is cold and efficient, the past must have been warm and joyful.
Both of them, Margie and the traveler, are projecting meaning. Margie is projecting the social connection she craves onto the past, and the traveler is projecting uniqueness onto a choice that was, in fact, pretty much arbitrary.
And this is so important for anyone navigating big choices. We build up the paths we didn't pick into these mythical things. The job you didn't take becomes the one that would have made you happy forever.
The relationship you didn't pursue becomes the one true love. We have to do this, maybe, to justify the path we're on.
But as Frost quietly points out, chances are that other path was worn about the same. It would have had its own set of problems, its own challenges.
If Margie had actually gone to a school in the 1950s, she would have dealt with bullies and boring teachers and rigid rules, a whole host of inefficiencies her mechanical teacher actually protects her from.
Right. The genius of both pieces is that they don't give an easy answer. Asimov says efficiency isn't enough. We need community. But Frost reminds us that whatever we choose, we have to live with the story we tell ourselves about why we chose it.
Margie's ultimate desire isn't just for a better school, it's for a better narrative for her life. She's trapped in this optimized, isolated story, and she wants the vibrant, messy, communal one.
And in a way, just imagining the fun they had is her act of rebellion. It's a small escape. It gives her suffering a sort of a context.
It's all about nostalgia, isn't it? Nostalgia is almost never about remembering reality accurately. It's about remembering the feeling we wish we had right now.
And we see that tension everywhere in modern life. The constant push for individual success, for personal bests, for optimized performance, it can be incredibly isolating, even when you're technically succeeding.
And so we find ourselves yearning for a path that prioritizes connection over those metrics.
But we always have to remember Frost's quiet warning. We are all that traveler. We all pause, we all try to see the future, and we all choose. And then we spend the rest of our lives telling ourselves a story about why that choice was special.
Which forces us to ask a really tough question. Are we choosing the path we're genuinely drawn to, or are we just choosing the one that will make for the most satisfying story later on?
The real power of Asimov's story isn't that technology is bad. Of course not. It's that technology, when its only goal is maximum efficiency, can strip away the shared human rituals.
The shared jokes, the collective groan at a tough assignment, the communal struggle.
All the little things that give life its texture, its richness.
And the power of Frost is that the joy, the difference, comes not from the objective reality of the choice, but from the subjective, decades-long commitment to making that choice matter.
The path Margie yearns for only exists in its perfect form in her imagination, precisely because it's the path her world let go of.
In the end, it seems the human heart will always prefer a shared imperfection to an isolated perfection.
The fun they had was the fun of being messy, inefficient humans together.
That willingness to either step onto the less worn path or just to imagine the fun of a different life. That's what shapes us.
The stories we tell ourselves about the choices we made or the communities we lost, They define who we are right here in the present.
So as you find yourself navigating your own world, one that's probably balanced somewhere between personalized digital life and shared physical connection, maybe consider this.
The deepest truth is often found in that tension, the space between what is efficient and what feels truly human.
And that difference,
Hmm.
whether it's real or just a story we tell ourselves,
Yeah.
well, that has made all the difference.